Hey, good evening, Midwest Survivor. Time for dinner chat. First off, let me just say thank you to everybody that is checking out the channel, checking out the Facebook shorts, the TikTok post, the X post, the Lemon 8 post, and the Pinterest post. So thank you for that. Be sure, if you're checking out the YouTube channel, be sure to click subscribe, click the thumbs up, click the bell. And as always, thank you so much. This is going to be kind of a shifting change. I know we've talked about narcissism and toxic relationships and stuff, but today I want to get into a new heartbeat of what I want for this channel, which is, helping people rebuild their lives, which is what a person should always do that is surviving. As a child growing up, went through a tornado, and of course, that started a rebuilding process. And it's not that your life is ever the same after you go through something like that, but it's about rebuilding and reshaping your life. And the thing to remember is that it's not that your life is over, it's that your life has undergone a change. And it's so very important to recognize that change is not the end of life, but it's just merely something new in your life. Whether it be a new job, a new car, you've suffered a fire, a tragedy. Your life is not over just because that happened. It just means that you are undergoing a change. And speaking for myself, at age 42, I am separated, going to be going through a divorce, and my life is going through a change. So it doesn't mean that your life ends. It just means that your routines and who you are and friendships and whatever have to change. And healing takes time. A lot of people, they want to rush through things and just get through it as best they can without going through the very things that make them who they are. And when you're going through a process like this, it's important that you take your time and you heal correctly. So I want to talk about some steps that will help someone or somebody, or anybody for that matter, rebuild your life after divorce. And that is tonight's dinner chat topic. So here's some basic practical steps that will help you rebuild your life after divorce. So number one, allow yourself to grieve. It's very important in any situation, whether it be a job change, whether it be a divorce, whether it be a natural disaster, whatever. You need to allow yourself to grieve. And it's very, very important that you go through the grieving process. Grieving is the first step. And even if what you're going through is shocking and traumatic, even if it was the right decision for you to make, it's normal to experience sadness, anger, relief, fear, hope, and sometimes all in the same day, sometimes even in the exact same hour. You can experience all those emotions at one time. I can honestly say that I have experienced all of them. Some days I still experience all of them, but I realize and recognize that it's part of the healing process. Number two, rediscover who you are. And especially for anybody that's coming out of a narcissist relationship, a toxic relationship, an emotionally, physically, or verbally abusive relationship where your abuser broke down who you are and who you said you were, you need to ask yourself some very important questions. What do I enjoy? What do I enjoy doing? What do I enjoy taking my time with? What do I enjoy in my life? What are the things that make me happy? What values do I want to live my life by now? Sometimes a value system was enforced on you by your abuser, and you have lost sight of the values that you used to have, and because you took on somebody else's values, all of a sudden now you don't know what values you need to live by. What kind of life do I want to live? And here's the thing. You don't have to make long-term plans. You can make short-term plans. And I recommend highly making short-term plans. What kind of life do I want to live? Well, at some point I want to get a new job and leave the state in which I'm living in right now and go someplace else where my girlfriend is and spend the rest of my life with her where she is. That is one of my long-term goals. 5 years from now, I want to be in a new business and living my life with her and enjoying things and experiencing life with her, and hopefully seeing my kids whenever the legal system says that I can. That's how I want my life to look like in a few years, and hopefully be married to her in the next, hopefully by this time next year, if not sooner. Those are some things that I want, providing that my divorce gets settled. Some other things, do I need to move? Do I need to get, what do I want my life to look like? Who am I right now? Who is the person that I am right now? Number 3, take care of your physical health. If you have been in an abusive relationship, a lot of times, your physical health gets racked, and it's important that you start eating correctly. You start taking care of yourself. You start doing things that will help make you physically in better shape. Lose weight. Exercise more. Eat right. Do things that are going to help you out in the long run. Maintaining a good sleep schedule. Make sure that you're drinking things that'll help you. Doing things like that. Number 4, build healthy boundaries. If there are people in your life that have been guilt tripping you and treating you very toxically and being narcissistic towards you, set boundaries that limit your exposure to them, or even, if possible, if necessary, cut them out of your life completely. Learn to say no without feeling guilty. Protect your peace from people and situations that repeatedly drain your energy and drain your resources. Not only can people be a financial drain, but they can be an emotional and mental drain on you. And cut those people out of your life. Number 5, reconnect with healthy people. Spend time with people who encourage you, who respect your boundaries, who support you. Healthy relationships will always remind you and show you and point you in the direction of what mutual respect looks like. Create new routines. Sometimes we set number 6 is create new routines. Sometimes learning new things, new habits, traditions, hobbies, going to different places, volunteering, learning a new skill can help you move forward and pull you out of the hole that you feel like that you've been stuck in. I can honestly say that since I've separated, I got to go to new places and experience new things that I never experienced before, and I found that I enjoy going places and traveling and doing things that I never got to do before. Very important, and I actually enjoy it. Number 7, strengthen your finances. Set goals, create a budget. Reduce unnecessary debt. And if possible, begin planning your future one step at a time. You know, this is very important because it takes money to do these things. As I was saying, you know, prepare for the future, prepare financially. If possible, find somebody that can help you with your budget and stuff. Prepare for that. Forgive without forgetting. Now, this is a hard one, and this is one that I think should be further down the list. However, it's at number 8. I think it should be like number 10 or even number 11. But forgive without forgetting. Forgiveness does not necessarily mean that you excuse it, that you let it slide. It just means that you are going to not let bitterness control your life and your future. I cannot tell you how many people I know and have been exposed to in my life that are holding on to stuff that is 20, 30, and 40 years old, and they continually dwell on it and eat it like a day-old hamburger or a stale bag of potato chips that they just won't let go. So, you know, forgive and move on. Number 9 is don't rush relationships. Give yourself time to heal so that you can recognize what is healthy, what is right, and avoid repeating the same old patterns. You know, that leads into trauma bonding. That leads into the Florence Nightingale effect of trying to save somebody, of trying to rescue somebody. You know, the most important thing is that you don't rush into a new relationship right away. I can honestly say that I've seen a lot of people do this, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. You know, a lot of people would say, well, you know, you don't need to rush into a relationship. Listen, when you know yourself better than anybody else in this world, better than your parents, better than your pastor, the only person that may know you better is God. And only you and God can decide what is right in your life and what isn't. And you should always pay attention to signs and make sure that you are not being led by an emotional high, but that you really care and love about this person. You know, make sure that you don't rush it. Make sure you nurture it. Make sure you let it grow. Let things grow healthily. Let things grow naturally. I can honestly say that my relationship with my girlfriend has grown naturally and progressed very slowly. And we are going to take our time and we're going to do this right. So, number 10, find purpose. And this is the last one. Finding purpose. Many people discover that the greatest pain becomes the foundation for helping others through mentoring, writing, speaking, creating content. That's kind of how this channel, Midwest Survivor 8426, has gotten started and become a labor of love, of dinner chat and breakfast bits, is that I wanted to have a purpose of helping people so that other men and other women out there that are going through the same things that I am going through currently don't have to go through these lessons alone. And more importantly, they can learn the lessons just like I'm learning them myself. You know, your divorce is part of your story, but it doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to change you. It doesn't have to break you. You can be a better person, and you can be a stronger person by going through this. Just remember, just because you go through something like this doesn't mean that your book is closed. It just means that this chapter of your book has closed. And another one is waiting for you to be written. So, you're not rebuilding the life you lost. You're building the life that reflects the wisdom and the experiences that you have learned along the way. So, strong people aren't people that have not been broken or haven't gone through anything, or not experienced bad times. Strong people are the ones that have learned to rebuild and restructure and reconfigure their lives. So, Midwest Survivor for Dinner Chat, I want you to enjoy your weekend. I want you to be healthy. I want you to get healthy. I want you to stay healthy. I want you to be strong and get strong. So as always, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Breakfast Bits. Have a pleasant evening. Enjoy your dinner.